But then, especially since we were at the Brave for so long, we both found after about 6 months of being here that we were really missing community. And I have done lots of teaching along the way, of teaching community classes, teaching workshops. We had people starting to ask us, you guys have wheels, could you teach me how to throw? And the high school has an adult ed program that is kind of adult enrichment programming, where you might learn how to make Ukrainian Easter eggs or weave a basket or learn sign language or something like that. And a friend of ours was helping with their programming, and she came and said, would you guys like to do some adult ed pottery classes? And most of the classes they do at the high school. And we were like, gosh, that's a lot of stuff for us to haul. Can we do adult ed through the high school here? Mm-hmm. And they said, sure. And so we did that for about 6 months and got a mailing list together from all of those people. And that's how we started our regular class program. So adult ed sort of was our advertising campaign in the town to start. And we started off small. We only kind of bought one wheel a year for a little while. And so we started out, we had, I think, 5 or 6 wheels.
4 or 5.
And then slowly, now we're up to 11. And we actually have a 12th that is kind of the backup in case something goes awry. And we were super lucky. I was teaching at the private high school in town, and they had just changed out their library shelving. And so they had these shelves that they were going to take to the dump. And I was like, those could be great. And, so we were sort of smart in setting up the studio. We didn't go get a big loan and try to purchase everything all at once. Yeah. We've gotten a lot.
Fortunate with that because we had the building and didn't have a rent specifically to pay every month. We didn't have to have, we didn't have to hit the ground running with, we have to have 50 students and this much income and all of that.
In order
to
make our bills.
Yeah. So we could start small and kind of grow as the population kind of grew with us.
And I think
it was good.
Josh and I have always lived fairly frugally. We don't go out to eat a lot. We usually travel and go on one nice trip a year, but other than that, we live fairly simply. And so when we moved, my income from selling my pots was enough to sustain us. Yeah. Even with Josh going from a full-time job to being a full-time potter and kind of trying to figure out what that business was, we were okay if he took some time to figure out what he wanted to do. And so we've kind of, our teaching situation, we've always sort of thought of it covers all the building expenses. And I mean, it's turning a profit now, which is great, but when it wasn't, it was just kind of, it made enough that it paid the property taxes, and then we were continuing to just live off of me selling pots, and it worked really well financially. And that kind of slow start, kind of getting ourselves introduced to the community, and now we have enough students, we have 40 people a session. Yeah. So they go out and they tell people, and they always have friends that want to come, or their kids want to come, or they're so we have to do very, very little advertising, which has been marvelous. Even though we're in a town of 2,500 people, I mean, Bethel is small, but
it keeps it manageable because it's still just us doing things, and we wanted to keep it kind of doable for the two of us to manage the studio and maintain things, and still teach the classes, because it gets more complicated, like if we had to hire somebody,